It's time for Orchard CMS. In the realm of software development, every software project acquires technical debt. One of these areas a project can acquire technical debt is when a platform gets updated. Back on December 3rd, 2019, Microsoft released .NET Core 3.1. One of the most important features of this release is LTS, meaning it's a long-term supported release. It will be supported by Microsoft for 3 years until December 3rd, 2022. Last week, on December 26, 2019, the Orchard Core team updated their projects to .NET 3.1. So because of these activities, I am now facing my own technical debt on all the projects I have created with Orchard Core. Therefore, today, we will be upgrading the My Orchard Core CMS web application to the latest release of Orchard Core. We will be getting rid of some of our own technical debts. Welcome back to Orchard CMS. So let's get started by getting rid of some of our technical debt. The first thing we need to do is update to .NET Core 3.1. To update .NET Core, visit their download page at .net.microsoft.com/download. So let's go ahead and go to the site. So you'll notice that there are two different frameworks. There's the .NET Core and then there's .NET Framework. The .NET Framework is the old version of .NET. So what we want to do is click on all .NET Core downloads. And then we'll click on the .NET Core 3.1. So what you want to do is select the Windows package here, which includes the .NET Core Runtime 3.1, ASP.NET Core Runtime, and also the desktop runtime. So this will give you everything by clicking on that, and it will start a download. But since I have Visual Studio installed, I don't need to install the .NET Core because that's automatically done by Visual Studio. And go to About Visual Studio. I'm at release 16.4.2. That's the latest release. That also includes .NET Core 3.1. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and update our project. Right-click on our project, which is my Orchard Core CMS.web. Let's go ahead to Properties. So you notice there's a targeted framework here. So what we want to do is select the latest, which is 3.1. So there we go. And let's go ahead and save everything and then exit out of that window. So another thing we need to do is go to our dependencies, right click and go to Manage NuGet. We are currently at release 11.3.23. If we go to the Updates tab, we can see that there's a later version of 11.3.45. So let's go ahead, select that, go ahead and update to version 11.3.45. As you can see, that was a major upgrade because it seemed like all the projects were updated. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And there we go. We've updated here. So let's go ahead and save everything, make sure. And let's go ahead and select my Orchard Core CMS.web, and let's go ahead and run it here. Okay, great. It looks like this is working. So let's go ahead and select my Orchard Core. Let's select the blog recipe. Let's go ahead and select our time zone. Let's keep SQLite, and let's just do admin and password. And let's go ahead and hit the Finish Setup button. Okay, great. And let's go ahead to the back end to make sure that's working, to the dashboard with a /admin. And let's go ahead and log in. And it looks like that's working as well. So it looks like we successfully updated our Orchard Core CMS web application. So now what we need to do next is to go ahead and make sure this all works in Azure. All right, now let's go to our Azure DevOps site. And let's go ahead and select on the My Orchard Core CMS project. Okay, now let's head over to our pipelines. And let's just take a look at our continuous integration pipeline. And let's hit Edit. And let's briefly look through to see if we need to change anything. I don't think we need to, but let's click on Restore. And that looks good. We're just restoring with a NuGet. So all the NuGet should be updated. Let's go to the build process. So we're just using a generic build. So hopefully Azure DevOps has upgraded and now supports 3.1. We'll just go ahead and assume that. And let's go to publish. And nope, nothing there. Check out advanced. So that looks okay. So now let's go to the continuous delivery pipeline. Okay, let's go ahead and click on releases. And let's go ahead and edit. And let's go ahead and look at the view stage tasks. So our agent looks great. And let's look at our Azure deployment. And let's look at our deploy Azure app service. We notice here that our runtime stack is .NET Core 3.0. So let's go ahead and change that to 3.1. All right, I think that's the only thing that needs to be changed. And let's hit save. Hit OK. All right, now let's go back to Visual Studio. And you notice we have our My Orchard Core CMS web application loaded. And let's go ahead and commit our changes and push it up to our GitHub repository. And if we do that, it should fire off a build and can see if everything works in Azure. So let's go ahead and select Team Explorer, click on Changes, and we'll add a comment updated to .NET 3.1 and hit Commit All. Okay. Now let's go ahead, hit the little home icon and do sync. And let's go ahead and do a push. And there you go. Visual Studio has pushed our changes to the GitHub repository. Okay, now let's head back to Azure DevOps. And let's go to My Orchard Core CMS. And let's take a look at our CI build pipeline and see if that succeeded. And no, it did not. So let's go and find out why. Let's click on that. Click on the build. And click on the error. And it looks like, oh yes, it's not supported yet. Bummer. Okay, let's head back to the pipelines and select on My Orchard Core CMS Continuous Integration Pipeline. And let's go ahead and edit. So one thing we could do is we can add another task and search for use .NET Core. Click on that. And let's add it right here. Okay, click on here, and for the version, we want to put 3.1.x. Okay, and let's go ahead and save. We'll do a save and queue. Save and run. And there we go. So let's go ahead and click on our agent. It's queued. And let's see if this works. Anticipation. Initializing job. Okay, it's checking out the code. It's upgrading to SDK 3.1x. Cross your fingers. Okay, looks like that worked. We're doing the restore. Oh, great. It looks like the restore fixed. That's great news. Now we're doing the build. We're doing publish artifact, and post job checkout. And it looks like that completed successfully. Now let's head over to the releases and click on here. So we downloaded the artifact and we're deploying Azure App Service. And it looks like it succeeded. Okay, so let's go to myOrchardCMS.com. And it looks like we're updated. Great. So let's go ahead and check out the backend, the dashboard. And there we go. Everything seems to be working great. We can add all our wonderful content in Orchard Core under version 3.1 of .NET Core. So to recap, today we cleaned up some of our technical debt. We went and updated our My Orchard Card CMS web application to the latest version of Orchard Core, which is now using .NET 3.1. That's great. But unfortunately, it seems like the Azure DevOps team needs to do a little bit of technical debt cleaning themselves. Now, if you missed or didn't understand something, that's okay. There is a detailed blog post that describes all the steps. There is also a GitHub repository with the complete source code. All the information is in the video description. If you like the video, please click on the thumbs up icon. Also, please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications when I release the next video. Thank you for watching.